Hello, my name is Alexander Nichols. I am from Cypress Woods High School in Cypress, Texas, and I am here to share my journey with how I came from Texas to Middlebury, Vermont. My typical week involved, obviously going to school for 6-7 hours a day. I had a plethora of extracurriculars from poetry-related stuff, my clubs like chess club, biology club, and I was in 2 national honor societies. I was in Science National Honor Society and Spanish National Honor Society. So I definitely had some time commitments there. My senior year specifically, I had a lot of things to do with like the application process, obviously writing essays, getting stuff ready, everything like that. So that was also a big part of my daily life senior year, but previously it would have probably been a lot more time spent studying, as my junior year was very hard. I guess the next step in our process is going towards testing. I took the ACT 3 times, never took the SAT. I did take a few SAT subject tests. So for the ACT, the first time I took it sophomore year, I got a 34. I took it twice more my junior year. The first time I took it, I got a 35, and the second time I took it, I also got a 35. I was 1 point away from a 36, so that was frustrating, but I can't complain. So it was fantastic scores that I'm happy with. For my SAT subject test, I took Math 1, Math 2, Spanish, Chemistry, and Physics. None of them I submitted except for Physics because the scores were not really up to the standards I wanted them to be, except for in Physics. During my summers, I spent a lot of time either working or doing research at different universities. So my freshman to sophomore summer, I mostly spent working as a lifeguard. Sophomore to junior summer, I did research at Michigan State in radioactive physics, and I also worked as a lifeguard. This previous summer with COVID and everything, it was a lot more difficult, but I did manage to do research at Notre Dame in star spectroscopy, so that was very cool. I am grateful for the opportunities to do those things, especially during the crazy COVID times. I was planning on applying to 16 schools. I only ended up applying to 14 because, to be honest, senioritis, I got lazy. Sorry, that happens to everyone. I was planning on applying to, I'm gonna see if I can go off the top of my head. So, Brown, Columbia, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Cornell. So I applied to those 6 Ivies. I also applied to Williams, Swarthmore, Middlebury, Colgate, Colby, Bowdoin. So those 6 top LACs. And I also applied to Carnegie Mellon and UT Austin. Oh wow, I remembered. I applied early decision 1 to Brown, I got deferred, and then I applied early decision 2 to Middlebury, and that's where I'm gonna go. So, everything worked out well in the end. How I approached the Common App, stressfully, I guess. I don't know if that's a word, but for the sake of this explanation, it is. It was definitely a long and tedious process. It was not easy. I don't think it will ever be easy for anyone, especially for those with ambitions for top schools, because you have to make sure that everything is very minute, everything is very impactful, and there's no holes left behind. I started looking at the Common App March of my junior year. I started filling out the basic information. Once I found out that it doesn't reset your information, it only resets things like essays and extracurriculars. I started early. I highly recommend anyone who is applying to more than 6 schools start looking at this stuff before the end of your junior year. Start your essays summer, you need to get on the ball. It's very important. I had a stress-free winter break, stress-free Thanksgiving break. It was euphoric. Obviously, I work with Crimson. I've worked with Crimson for 2.5, almost 3 years now. So I worked with my mentor Bryce to help build this application that would be competitive for these top schools, using my passions, using my interest and things like that. So with Bryce, I was able to formulate the ways I was going to say things to most accurately and most confidently express what I did. Pretty much that's just how I approached it. I used my Crimson mentorship. I started early and I kind of just got the ball rolling. I mean, it's a very intensive process that needs to be given the care that it deserves. Personal statement, this was by far the longest part of my application process. I believe I spent 3 months on this, like editing daily, changing stuff, getting feedback, talking to people, exploring new ideas. If you look back there, I have a map, and that was my final draft. I believe on Crimson there is another video of me reading my Common App essay, so if you would like, I bet you could go check that out. But basically what I did was I was walking through my map and I was comparing different historical events that happened at that place on the map to events that happened in my life, and I used the successes and failures of historical figures to express my personal growth and my personal changes. And yeah, I think this was a great topic for me because, one, I love history, so I was able to geek out about random history stuff that may not be common knowledge. I also was able to express many different aspects of my personality and application with this map because I was able to take in so many different aspects of myself. Like, I think I did conditioning, I think I did Science Olympiad, I did poetry, and I did lifeguarding. And I combined them all into this one essay through the medium that was my map. Now, I explored many different other topics like physics and poetry, ways to group them together. I explored like a contrast between my old home in the deep rural country of Texas to my current home in the suburbs of Texas. Yeah, I did a lot more like emotional, more personal dive into poetry. Like, all those ideas I think were good, but none of them were ever gonna be as good as the map essay. How I approach the activities list, lots of wordplay. You only have 150 characters, so it was a very complex and terrible process that required you to put years and years of work to be compressed down into a sentence. So I definitely would not have expressed my activities as fluidly and as importantly as I did with Bryce, with Crimson, as I would have done by myself. Letters of rec and interviews, this one for me was thankfully easy. My letters of rec, I just went to 3 teachers that I've known throughout, all of high school. Like, I went to my Science Olympiad coach, my chess club sponsor, and my English teacher, my junior year. I was pretty close with her just through my junior year, so I got a letter of rec from her because it's generally wanted that you get your STEM rec and your humanities rec. So I used her for my humanities rec, and I also got a side rec from my research advisor from Notre Dame in star spectroscopy. So those are my letters of rec. Those were, I like talking, I like conversating. I feel like I'm good in that kind of environment, so that for me they were quite easy. I just talked, it was very natural. I was quite nervous. I mean, I'm interviewing for a spot at my dream school, so it was very, very stressful, I guess. I believe they went well. I mean, my first interview was with Lehigh. I didn't say Lehigh earlier in the college list, darn. I applied to Lehigh, and my first interview, it was really cool because I got to learn a lot about the school that I didn't previously know about, but it also derailed into talking about my interviewer's relationship problems. So I think the interview went well. I didn't get to see my acceptance or rejection because I withdrew the application once I got into mid, so not entirely sure. My best interview was mid, so correlation, causation, I don't know. Oh man, start early. Don't do things to the college application. Do things because you like them that happen to benefit the college application. I can't stress that last one enough because this process is very dehumanizing. You have to change who you are and what you say for the purpose of getting into this institution that you're just another name on their list up until a certain point. So you want to make sure that you retain your individuality. Maintaining who you are is the most important part of the application process. I am I'm an emotional wreck. I am a nerd. I like to slam around weights in the gym for ego reasons, like that's all part of me that I didn't let change because of the process, the application process. I think that whatever quirks you have, whatever aspects of your life you're proud of or want to maintain, you shouldn't edit for the sake of getting into an institution. Yeah, that's my advice. Start early and be yourself. I hope this video was entertaining, if not helpful, because I know I'm a little bit weird when it comes to this stuff, but I'm glad you listened. I wish you luck in your future process, and yeah, join Crimson if you want a better chance.